Welcome everyone, this is Evelyn, and this video is about the name Evelyn. So for those of you who are Evelyn or may know someone named Evelyn, this is for you. I came to this because I was doing some inner child work, and one of the techniques to use in doing that is to use your opposite hand to write down words of things that you want to dig into or clear. So I was writing down my name with my opposite hand, which I'm left-handed, so I was writing it with my right hand. And you'll see that in front of you the way I wrote it. And also my middle name, which is Esther, but I was also told by someone from Israel that actually Evelyn is Esther translated from Hebrew to English. So they're basically the same name. So that's one translation for you. So I wrote down all the impressions and words that I got from the way I wrote down Evelyn and Esther. And then I went on to decipher further the breakdown of Eve and Lynn, and then in pushing the actual letters of Evelyn together that make another symbol. And this is the information that I got for you. So, E as the swollen heart and the dawn. The swollen heart filleted, oriented to read from the Torah, now thunder to dare to sound once without overdoing it or holding back. The eve, the evening, the feminine mouth and face, the sudden event or southeast orient to grace, favor, and thanks, in consent to pleasure, recite, to become and inspire imagination, leadership, a shred of parchment or scroll work, a gift to mate, heat, and bite, to coo like a dove, to tear in bright light, to see, speak admiring words of the hound, the wolf, the dog, the snake, worm, and cow, of the morning, the dawn, the eastern oriental breeze, now to recite thunder from a filleted heart, Eve's face and mouth, grace and goodwill, Southern Cross, imagination in the evening, to become inspired and gifted in bedding for animals, heating up to mate, to coo like a dove and tear up in bright light, to see and speak admiring words for the wolf, the dog, the hound, and the Kundalini rising. So Evelyn, and this was now at 144, which just happens to be my soul number and life lesson number. So Evelyn is the Eve and the Lynn, the Eve or the moment before of the pale lion, and I was just getting the violin, with a leash or cord, the shepherd of wind with loincloth, warmth of Louis, moves very fast to lighten up, lightning and waterfall, and the blue flowers that are 1.5 feet tall. In the moment, the white lion corded in loincloth as the shepherd of wind moving very fast in lightning storm with lots of rain, with warmth of Louis bodies 9, 11, and 12, to growth of the blue flowers of 1.5 feet, which 1.5 is also 120/80 normal blood pressure, and blue flowers or blue humans that flow with source support. The leap to dance to leap, and dance to leap back and forth, and align together and apart. With Louis coming up here of 9, 11, and 12, the 1XX1 also, which equals 20 or 9, 11, and the X11 rearranged of the dodeca, 12, or is that 10, 10, which equals 20. The Divine Feminine can choose to have Divine Masculine lead without, or source support within, in the 9, 11, or wake-up call, or emergency, or making the call. Evelyn, which also collapses to EVLN upon itself, where capital E is 1 equal and congruent to the V of Creator, the L of the right angle, and lambda, which is lamb of the sheep, and the da of the Father, the lambda leap to Christ and Christ consciousness, and the N, which is two humans reaching out to each other, two sides of oneself. So as we collapse Evelyn even further, it becomes this crown, so to speak, but it's actually a roof that's been pulled open. And as you collapse them together in its most collapsed form is the A and W as well as the A and N and FW. All of those two-lettered words came up, as well as the energy of this roof, of the roof opened up, or crown that is flowering. And also the W with the window on one side actually is the same window on the other side, which also can represent wings. And then you have EWE, which represents the U, EWE. And also EWM and 3 is the rolling stone. They're all the same letter, just rolling around. And remember, U is the female sheep. And U is also EV and VE, reflecting upon itself. So we have the soft-shell turtle here, or the tortoise, the water tortoise. Women in awe, to swim and cry of pain. In the moment, switched on, burning, peaceful, undisturbed, to manage and fend for oneself, feeling safe and secure. Eve, and then the afterbirth, the moral law, nature, eternity, marriage, and water. Even level you people, language, skin, hide, leather, and yes, leaf, foliage, adolescent youth, and edible fungi, and Lewy bodies, which is protein in the nerves, which can sometimes cause dementia. And remember that Eve reflecting EV, VE, or excuse me, EV reflecting VE, VE also means holy place of offering or birth pangs. So going back to the protein in the Lewy bodies, protein is pro and teen, or positive iron rod, or positive spindle axle on the spinning wheel. And then going to procyon, which is a star of positive ancestry, the protein in the procyon, or the pro offshoot, or teen. The U of EWE is the Ev reflecting upon herself in her teen, the offspring, the axle that makes the wheel go round. The axis, or comes up as Torah here, the axe of his to grind is Atlas on top, spinning around the world in 80 days, and then 80 days came up as AD, or after death, days plus 1. The after death of day to Z, and leap, in the reversal of DNA, stranding. The path are and-ing, as Dan, and notice Dan and DNA all have the same letters, as Dan, and returning as dawn, adding 2 U's, added to DNA, and, all with the same letters, and strand with STR and. The path of Rand, the border, edge, or rim, the single rod in stakes, the heel of the shoe, the path of the shoe heel, which is a rocky slope, to rant to storm, the path of the horse's shoe, the beach, the coast, the shore, and the footprint of Christ, with nature or tendency to man till peace, shield or boss of the shield, the shepherd of the storm, from sea to shining sea. Evelyn, you see.